Hey everyone, Spencer Kaufman here, one of the owners of OxyFresh of Kansas City. Just wanted to share with you really fast a brief overview of our apartment turn tracking project management tool. This is a tool that we use to process and execute apartment turnovers, kind of specifically in college environments where you have a move out date, a short period of time to turn around apartments, and then a move in date, whether that's carpet cleaning or dry vent cleaning. That's what this tool is created for, to just get rid of a lot of headaches that property managers have, and quite frankly, the vendors have as well, so that you can work together. So I'm going to switch over to our tool really quick. Um, when we get into contract with apartment complexes, typically we'll take 10 to 15 minutes to show how this tool is done and how they can work it on their end. But just as a brief kind of overview, I want to take maybe 5 minutes to show how this works for our customers. So this is a spreadsheet we would create for you. We would fill out all of your information, including your email address, your phone number, et cetera, the contract information, and then a small project scope. From there, we would be mostly working in what we call the project tracker spreadsheet. So this is going to be the spreadsheet where we track status of all of the units, whether it's just carpet cleaning, dry vent cleaning, or both. But before we jump into how this works and how it's a good project management tool, also wanted to show this ribbon up at the top. So this is your status bar, okay? So as the project manager adds units to the spreadsheet, and as we work through the status of each unit over here on column J, this dashboard is going to get complete, is going to get updated. So the customer and OxyFresh are going to know throughout the entire project how many units have been requested, how many are in project, how many are waiting on approval from the property manager, how many have passed, how many need reworked, and how much is left in the job scope. So you can know, hey, I have a 1 week time to get these apartments turned around, or all these units turned around, and on day 3 maybe you should say, okay, I should be at about 75% pass rate. And if you're at 30%, then as a project manager, you might be having a conversation with us as the vendor, or vice versa. I'm just giving examples, right? So that's a really cool part of this. So the way this would work is we would share this spreadsheet with the property manager, the customer, and they would request rooms to be done as they're available. You could give this to us as a spreadsheet or a piece of paper or a phone conversation, and we could fill it out for you. But really, we share this document through the Google environment and Google Docs and Google Sheets, and the customer could easily just fill out the requested information. You can see on row 7, we have the field responsibility. Essentially, that's identifying who's responsible to fill out what column or what cell. So we have customer field information that's auto-filled, and then the status bar here on J, that's going to be toggled by both the customer and OxyFresh. So that status is going to be changing as a room or a unit goes through the progress of the project. And then, of course, we have just more information here that we'll go over in more detail. But just to get started, I want to talk about how a customer would request one or more units to be cleaned at a time. So let's say we wanted to request, and I want to show kind of how this auto generates folders, auto generates work orders, auto generates places for before and after photos to be stored, and then gives automatically generated emails to notify OxyFresh when the property manager's requested more units, or notifies the customer when OxyFresh has marked the unit as ready for their QC and checkoff, or notifies the customer when there's been additional issues that need to be addressed and is waiting their approval. So there's automatically generated emails along each major step of the process. So let's just pretend I'm a property manager. I'm going to request one room for now. So it's going to be in Building D. It's going to be Unit 401. A lot of times on college properties, there might be a 4-bedroom or 3-bedroom unit, but only a portion of the tenants are moving out and the others are staying. So let's do one of those examples. So the unit type is going to be a 3-bedroom unit, but only one person is moving out, or one person is moving out. So the scope of this unit is going to be 1 of 3. You'll notice that I got to drag the formula down. The room count is going to be automatically generated. And also the job ID is automatically generated. So every unit's going to get its own job ID, and that's how we can reference jobs and work orders. That unit, let's say they had pets, so we're going to have yes for an odor destroyer treatment. And as a property manager, I want this unit done on 8/3/2026. And enter, if there's specific notes the property manager might want us to know, that's where they would enter notes here. Okay. So then once I create that unit information, I was the property manager, I would say, okay, I would hit this drop down and say requested. I'd like to request that to be done. Now what happens is OxyFresh, not only do we timestamp this so we know what's going on and who's doing what, OxyFresh is going to get a automated email that the property manager requested a unit to be cleaned. So I'm going to show you where that is right here. Okay, so this is an email that we would get on the OxyFresh side. Essentially, it would have all of the unit information. It would have the notes that the property manager would have given us, and then it just has the information. So and then it shows how it's automatically created the drive folders. So we can go in and create before photos. It gives us a link to the spreadsheet as well. So this is a great tool. It automatically tells us, hey, we got units to go clean. Let's get dispatched to the apartment complex. As OxyFresh, we would then go say, okay, it's scheduled and assigned, and we're going to assign that to our technician, Mr. Devin, and then that's going to be now scheduled. As we go and clean it, we might say, hey, this is in progress, okay, and so that status has changed. An automatic alert is going to be sent to the property manager, letting them know it's in progress. And then what's going to happen here is, let's say we go there and there's just this giant red whatever stain. We're going to say, hey, giant red whatever stain found in corner of room, additional stain treatment needed, $25 additional. Please approve. Please approve. And then so what we would do is we would change the status to, OxyFresh would say change the status to awaiting PM approval. And I'll go show you in a minute some of these emails that the project manager would get. But essentially, the project manager would get an alert saying, hey, I need to go approve some additional services. And it would give us a note of the additional services. And then it would give us a link to the before photos where the contract, or where the technician would have put the photos of the situation. So let me go show you that email, and then we'll show you how that works. Okay, so I'm back. I'm in my pretend email for the property manager. And essentially, it says, hey, additional services require your review. It's this unit, and then it gives us the notes that talk about what we found. And then it gives you a link to the drive folder with the that's been automatically created, where our technician would have loaded the folders. Okay, and then you would, so as a property manager, you'd click that drive folder, you'd go look at the photos, and then you could just click this quick link back to the job tracker. It'd get you in here, and then you could say, okay, awesome, hey, I approve that. And then once that's approved, we as OxyFresh would then get an email saying, hey, this is approved, continue your work. So I don't need to show that email, but just know that that would happen. So we'd be automatically alerted. Okay, so then we would say, boom, we went and got it cleaned. It's now completed, and we're now awaiting final approval for the for that room. So on our end, we'd create the work order, So once it's complete, the property manager would get an email saying, hey, it's complete, please approve. Okay, so as the property manager, I get this automatic email saying, hey, unit 401 is ready for approval. Here's the property information. I would be able to go look at the before and after photos, and then I could click right into the spreadsheet, and then I could say, hey, I approve. This has been approved. I'm the property manager. I've looked at the photos. If I want, I can go look at it. I can approve it. Boom. Once it's approved, a final work order is going to be generated, and then we'll have a running record of that work order. So we could click here. We could go into the automatically created job folder, and then we would have a work order that has been created for that unit. So it has all the unit information. It has links to the before and after photos. It has all the notes that were taken for additionally any notes we would have put for OxyFresh, the notes that were needed for additional services required, the status of the additional service if they're approved or denied, and then it would timestamp the final approval when this unit was passed. And the cool thing is all of these folders for each unit are automatically created, right? So as we create the units, or the customer does, the property manager does, you would then have these automatically generated folders. So within this unit, we'd have before photos and after photos, and then the final work order would be loaded here. And we would share all these access to all these folders to the customer so that they could go back and reference them during the job. So just to go back to our deal, when you were done, say this was obviously we probably wouldn't need this tool for 4 units, but let's say this was a 4-unit turn. We would have all the work orders generated. You can see they're generating with time here. And then have all the notes, and then your status bar would show, hey, we had 4 units, all 4 have passed, you're at 100% complete. So this is a very powerful tool when you're trying to do 200, 300, even 50 to 100 units in one project, especially during a short period of time. And this is how we run our apartment turnovers. If you're looking to get help with your apartment turn this season, we would love to help you. We're doing commercial carpet cleaning, residential carpet cleaning, and dryer vent cleaning. Hope to hear from you soon. You can get a hold of us at info@oxyfreshkc.com. Thanks for watching.